In this video, we're going to talk about how to get rid of the slide in your golf swing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. We're giving away free stuff every week for the best comment. You just got to be a subscriber to participate or win. So the slide, it's a nasty word in golf instruction. It's a nasty word in the golf game, right? Your swing. We don't want slide in the swing. Let's first kind of define. There's a lot of ways people refer to slides. Let's turn to first kind of define what we're talking about.
I think I got this from you, and I think a great way to explain it is too much lateral motion in the body, specifically, usually people talk about the pelvis and hips. Too much lateral motion too late in the downswing.
So one of the common things you'll see is at impact, you're gonna see this knee way out, hip way out, this really soft, kind of saggy left knee, right? And it happens as kind of you're coming through impact. And that's what we talk about when we talk about sliding the golf swing, and that makes controlling the club face brutally difficult to do.
And the low point of the club becomes
low
pretty
point
hard.
of the club, when you're hitting drivers, it's just not a fun way to play golf. So, what do we see that stem from? So if we want to clean up something that happens at impact, we really want to kind of start to look back in the golf swing earlier to see where the causes come from. So what do we see cause that a lot of times?
Well, part of it could be that you don't have enough early enough.
That's right.
So you get to the top, you have kind of an unwinding.
Yep.
And you know, kind of subconsciously, your brain's really good at organizing things. It knows it's in a really bad spot, so it may lurch forward late to move the low point forward enough to actually make contact.
Right, because no one wants to hit it fat. It's the worst shot in golf.
No.
So you're kind of spinning around this back foot, or you're just late. We'll call left arm parallel kind of line of demarcation. You're late to transfer, and you're still on this backside, and you have to really get through it somewhere before impact, and it's kind of a potluck of what you're going to get.
Crapshoot.
So we got a good drill, and this is not our drill by any means, but it's a good way for golfers to kind of feel where that happens. We want to get the lateral movement, because there's lateral movement in the golf swing. There should be lateral movement in the golf swing. We want that to happen early.
Yeah, and I want to make a quick point to that. If you feel like you have a slide, or you've been told you're sliding, and you can see it on video that at impact, you have the knee buckled and your hip is outside your foot, right? The fix is not just to spin.
No, the fix is not to go the opposite direction.
As you say, throw the baby out with the bathwater. You need some lateral motion to set up the pressure and to kind of get the joints where they need to be in order to pivot correctly.
That's correct.
So the fix isn't that. So what's the drill that you like to use?
So we'll typically and we do this with a lot of different ways. If we're outdoors, we'll put an alignment stick behind the golfer and give him, you need to have a stopping point.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback. It's a big deal. So we'll take like a little din caddy if we're inside. Go ahead and set up to it, Shaun. So I'll kind of put this din caddy right outside his foot. Now, an acceptable range, this is a good kind of rule of thumb, an acceptable range of lateral hip movement, and we'll talk about the upper body and lower body in a second, of lateral hip movement is about a club head's width, or just make a fist, put it right by your side. That's about an acceptable range. So I'm going to be the fist right here. You're coming into the downswing right there. You should be pretty much over. You should be covering that range very early in the downswing, and then later in the downswing, it's a rotation.
Right, and would you say a good benchmark would be kind of hip over the knee, over the foot?
Absolutely, absolutely. All those joints kind of lined up.
So I'm there by the time my left arm gets parallel.
Which puts your knee pretty close to this din caddy.
And then from there, I'm going to feel like I'm rotating around.
Yes.
Pressure to the left foot. It keeps me inside the den caddy.
Yes.
And my normal tendency is a little late to my left foot. Yep. And this is good that we talk about this because it reminds me of what I need to work on. A little late to my left foot, and then a late slide, and I would bang this every single time. And I get hooks, pushes, because when you do that, it causes your body to tilt back.
Now, let's talk about the upper body. So we've got a center of mass here. Some center mass is more than others. So a center of mass above the belt, a center of mass below the belt. So we're kind of talking about lining up that center mass below the belt. You can't do much without what goes on with this upper center of mass. So if this lower takes off or is taking off too late, you're going to have to kind of balance that by tilting back with the upper body. And again, that brings in all that effort you're trying to do to get rid of those fat shots and thin shots. You're going to just compound it more by tilting all of this mass backwards. Pulls the low point back behind the ball a lot of times. And it's just a nasty snowballing effect. So let's go back towards the top of the golf swing. And let's get all of it coming over. So right here's your 4 inches. Let's get all of it over there. Now we're done. Now we're spinning the rest of the downswing, the really fast part of the downswing, rotating, pulls the hands forward, de-lofts the club, controls the loft. All of those things happen without you trying to time a slide.
And Mike, would you say that people get really nervous when you tell them it's okay to shift the upper body forward along with the lower body?
Yes.
I'm way ahead of the ball. They have all these ideas that are going to happen, but if you look at high-level players, if they're hitting an iron shot especially, right? Boom, they're here. They have both upper and lower centers of their body shift, rotate. They might get some kickback down here.
Yeah,
more
there
with
is
the driver.
kickback over, but it's because of the ground forces
Pushing up.
that kickback. It's not because to start the downswing, they're not lowering the club by doing this. Then you have to turn off those ground forces because you're sliding.
Then lowering the club, they get this idea that they want to keep the leg and the arms back, and that lowers it, but look what I've had to do with my body.
Now you better slide forward or you're going to hit it fat.
So the shift forward, conjunction with letting the arms swing, letting the right elbow start to straighten a little bit, letting the wrist uncock a little, gets me in a spot where I'm encouraged then to rotate.
Yep. So put something, a din caddy, a couch cushion, a bucket of balls turned upside down, any of those things that kind of give you at least a visual, if not a feel, kind of feedback device here. And hit balls with this, again, starting slowly, because you want to feel, you want to really kind of be in tune with when it starts to happen. So much of the golf swing, so much of the issues in the golf swing occur from when they happen rather than them just happen.
Absolutely.
So lock in on when this happens. You can start to really clean up the calls from that and have a feedback device here, and you're going to be a lot more enjoyable hitting those iron shots, driver shots too, for that matter.
Absolutely.
So give that a try. Let us know how it goes, and we will see you guys on the next video.